morning. It's the morning DNA. I am Aaron Dice, the man of a single black shirt. She is Danae Hughes, the woman of a million distractions, and we're here to find out what April 26th, 2021 is made of. I'm in the lower register today.
Atoms, particles. Do you want me to speak lower too?
No.
We'll both be sleepy.
I am.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Are you sure about that?
I am as close to my hangover is always about like program energy. So I produced a over 4 hour live video show last night. I didn't produce it actually, but I hosted it. A live 4 hour video show last night during the Oscars. And when it was over, there was adrenaline. And then that adrenaline took me, until, midnight, 12:30, that kind of thing before I could settle down. And then I crashed. And then to get up this morning, let's just say it wasn't the easiest thing I've ever had to do.
Oh, I could tell. You usually have our link for our show ready so quickly. And then this morning, I'm like, I was there 15 minutes early. Nothing. Kept refreshing. I kept coming back. 2 minutes till the show. Hit refresh. Still wasn't there. I sent you a text.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
So apologies if my register is lower, if I'm not quite on the top of my game this morning, but yeah. Oh,
that's okay. I'll take over.
Okay.
Let's just get Aaron out of here. Hold on a second. Move me over this way. Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Danae Show, where we're going to be talking about particle acceleration.
Well, that lasted for a while. That was nicely done, Danae.
I don't know why that was so funny to me. Oh,
no. It was great though. I had a really great evening. The show itself will play itself into my D topic or my A topic for today.
Wow, you are.
So yeah.
You're so sleepy.
No, I'm not sleepy. It's not sleepy.
You're so your power has been spent on other things.
Yeah, I got to recharge at some point.
It's like when I became a mom and suddenly had to make so many more decisions than I ever had before. And I'm like, I can't think of the word refrigerator for 12 minutes.
Yeah. Slab is absolutely correct. I mean, you're not wrong. Slab says, isn't it always today's show? Aaron's just along for the ride. Yeah, that is.
So you joke, but I do remember you telling me something like that, even in radio. And I've always just been like, it's not though. You don't understand. There would be no show if there's no Aaron. I would just sit here.
But it's okay. It's the interpretation from the outside, because of the dynamic, is that you bring the life, the energy, the like the randomness, like all that fun to the show. And the stuff that I do, it's just kind of there in the background, offering a little bit of structure and giving a platform. So I don't mind playing second fiddle to the most amazing fiddleist ever.
That's right. I am quite a fiddler. Although I don't have to fiddle like you do, because you have the thing with your hands. It's true. You have to do. I like how Slenderman comes in and says, "Hey-o!" And Lolly's like, "Shh, no shouting, Derek.
No shouting. No shouting." A little bit of a hangover this morning. A little bit.
Oh, no.
Energy
Acres
hangover.
Ridge also working on some energy issues today. Not smart.
Yeah.
But
we're here and we're excited. I always love doing this show. I will say, Danae, I wondered if maybe you'd show up at my door this morning, because you were over here last night for the beginning of the Sposkers broadcast that we're talking about. And you had said like you were wanting to get back to being in the same room. And so I was like, I wonder if I'm going to get a knock on the door Monday morning. It's like, nope, we're doing the morning DNA from here.
That was an interesting experience, because I'm sitting there and all of a sudden it's like just something clicks, like this feels good. I mean, I don't like your chair.
You have to bring your own chair.
Very uncomfortable chair.
Yeah.
But that's because it's been there for years and it needs to be replaced. Like, I remember when we bought those chairs, we were so excited because listen, let's tell a little bit of history.
Okay.
When Aaron and I first broke away from a radio station proper and started doing our own broadcasting from our own space. We piecemealed everything together. We went to a antique store one day, and we're just looking for anything that was a higher chair, something that was more bar level, because all of our broadcasting stuff was up higher. And that's kind of where you like it. You like to kind of sit up. And they had 2 wooden bar stools that were in decent shape. And I think we bought them for like
barely in decent shape, but
35
yeah.
or $40, and that's like all we had.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, we've got enough money to get these. We put them in the back of your van, maybe? I don't even remember. And we hauled them back to the house, and those things held together for a couple of years before we saved up enough money to spend $200 and get 2 chairs. It was, and that was a big deal day when it was like coming home from Office Depot or wherever we got them. Like, yeah, we assembled our chairs and sat down. Oh my God, it was amazing. But now,
and now
those
here
chairs,
you are dissing those same chairs that you loved.
I know.
You just can't let something last. You got to get something new.
I'm not comfortable anymore. That wasn't comfortable. But it was fun. That's not the point. The point is I really enjoyed being in the same space. I really enjoyed just being able to actually like make eye contact with somebody. And then there's all of these unspoken things that Aaron and I have when we broadcast, and we can kind of see them here in this space too. And I can hear them. Like we have tells about when we want control.
Right.
So that was there as well. But it was a lot of fun to be in the same room. So I definitely feel like, I don't know when we would do it. I don't know for what show or for what element.
It would have to be for this show. You just have to come over in the morning.
The morning DNA?
Yeah.
Do it in the same room?
What else would it be?
I mean, I think I'm okay with that.
Especially knowing like the setup last night, how well it worked. We could still use this platform even if we're in the same room.
Yeah.
And because we're not, we're not worried about like the purity of our recording file. It doesn't matter that my voice would be on your microphone a little bit and your voice would be in like the crosstalk wouldn't be a big deal. So yeah, no, absolutely. Just come over here, knock on the door at 8:30 every morning.
Here's how you know it was a long night for Aaron. He still has Sif pop up.
I know. I was about to mention that.
Noticed.
Yeah, somebody in the chat mentioned it. I was like, yep, okay. Totally forgot to swap it out.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Totally forgot to swap it out.
Acre says, my brother bought me a new office chair for Christmas, and my giant American body destroyed it in 3 hours.
Wow. I have a giant American body.
He has a giant American body.
And I haven't destroyed these chairs yet. These chairs are really sturdy.
They really are.
Maybe that's why I love them. I'm sorry. I was a little bit offended for the chairs when you started making fun. I was like, I love these chairs.
Well,
they've been so good to me.
I've had the luxury of, now that I'm in my own space, I don't have to have the taller chairs any longer. And so, and I was gifted this chair, which was like a hand-me-down. And this is like a $300 chair that I'm in that was given to me. It is ridiculously comfortable. So yeah, I'm nice. being far too. Moko comes in with a high exclamation points, and Brother Slenda's like, no yelling.
I don't know if they realize that chat actually doesn't have volume. I'm really confused. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Chat. This is playfulness.
I like that Lolly put a dachshund up in the profile pic. Nicely done.
So cute. I did want to ask you, unless this is your topic, are we talking about Oscars today?
Yeah, I was going to touch on the end of the Oscars for my topic today, kind of what happened there.
Okay, well then I'll just wait.
Well, you wanted to talk about it.
Well, I mean, I was curious, but I was kind of hoping it was like a touch and go, but now it will be a touch and go.
No. It will be a touch and go. It will be, here's what's happened. You know what I do? I take something that's happened and I turn it into something everybody can relate to. So like, or a lot of people can relate to.
Whereas I'm like, what pizza do you like?
Although my topic today may be a little bit of a thinker. I don't know if people will have stories right off the top of their head, but I'm curious because I think we've all experienced something like it. So, but yes, the show last night was, it was really fun to be broadcasting live. A couple years ago when La La Land was announced, but Moonlight had actually won. I don't know if you remember that. They had the wrong
I remember that
envelope and all that.
happening, yeah.
I was really sad we weren't broadcasting live that year, like, for all the reactions. And there were some, last 15 minutes things that happened at the Oscars this year that I was like, okay, this is what it's like to be broadcasting live when crazy stuff happens.
Oh my gosh, tell me everything.
So basically,
when it's your turn or now?
no, I can tell you everything now, and then
Okay.
I can just flip the topic when we get there. But basically, they decided to, well, first of all, that last 15 minutes was crazy because Glenn Close did "Da Butt," the song, the dance, which was out of nowhere, and then they decided to do Best Picture third from last instead of finishing like with the big award. All of a sudden, they're doing like Best Movie, and they still have the actor and actress categories left, and everybody was just kind of losing their minds. And so what's interesting about that is we think, nobody said this, but we think they kept Best Actor for last because Chadwick Boseman, was expected to win, and it would have been this emotional moment to end with and all that kind of stuff. So then they get to the end, and Anthony Hopkins surprisingly wins the award instead of Chadwick Boseman. Anthony Hopkins isn't even there. And so the show ends with a picture of Anthony Hopkins and like, see you later. And it was just the most anticlimactic thing ever
What?
in the history of the Oscars. It was so bad. It was so badly produced. Now, here's the thing. Hopkins was great in The Father. It wasn't that he shouldn't have won. It's just that they shouldn't have tried to play the game like that, where, using what was expected and trying to produce the show to, have that big end. Anyways, it was, so if you go back and watch our live stream, I think I linked to it in my Twitter. I put a link to the direct time when we found out that the Best Picture was going to be third from last. If you watch from then on, it's like another 15, 20 minutes of the show. And then we talk about it for another, 20 minutes afterwards. But shortly after that, I said, what if they're doing this for the Chadwick Boseman moment and Anthony Hopkins wins this thing and, and then it completely backfires on him? I'm like, that's a huge risk to take. And then it happened. And so, yeah, it was kind of one of those moments. So,
oh, no. JCD says, I honestly like the idea of changing up the order of when the Oscars are awarded to a degree to keep it from being too much of a formula. But that moment sounds awkward.
But not that award. Best Picture, last award every year. That's just how it has to be. Otherwise, everything else after it is anticlimactic. That is the big award. The other thing with Best Picture is there's always somebody there to accept it and do a speech. Always, because there's producers, actors, all that. So, yeah, the Best Picture has to be the last award. It was just a huge mistake.
Frank says, to defend Hopkins, he's in England, and it was like 3:30 a.m. at the time, and I don't have an issue with him not being there.
No, nobody should have an issue with him not being there. He was in Wales.
What a weird ending.
Yeah. He woke up this morning, found out he won the Best Actor, and posted a video and said thank you, and also honored Chadwick Boseman in his video. And yeah.
Oh, this is sorry, I meant to click on this one. Nick says, did anyone else find it weird that they did a little preamble describing every nominee, but when it came down to Best Actor, they were like, here's the top 5, and the winner goes to good night.
Yeah. It was all rushed and anticlimactic. It was a terrible ending. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They even had the in memoriam right there before the last 3 awards where they do the people who've passed on over the last year, including Chadwick Boseman and Sean Connery and some big names.
Right.
And that was rushed. It was like at 5 speed. It was just like, name. I mean, it was still beautiful. And actually, I don't know that I hate that choice too much. But, that added to everything else that happened just made the whole ending of the thing just feel like, are we watching this in fast forward? Like, what's happening?
Ugh.
So, yeah. Yep.
Miguel says, just now got a Hollywood Reporter notification with the funny timing. Lots of changes to Oscars. Some failed to hit. One spectacularly so.
Think so? Yeah.
Oh,
so anyways,
no.
It was fun. It was fun to go back and watch our reactions, because in the moment you're just having the reaction, you're not paying attention. But it's so funny to watch. I think we had 6 people on screen at the time, and we're all just going, like looking around, like, is this real? What is happening? So, it's funny.
Well, that's interesting. I was actually wanting to hear more about how it ended because of the idea of the production being more like a movie and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
I guess
I
I guess I saw the good parts and then I left
yeah,
just
yeah.
at the right time.
Yeah, I didn't mind all the stuff earlier about taking it seriously and taking time to really, let winners have their moment and being very real with the speeches and the kind things to say about the nominees. But yeah, man, what a weird ending. So yeah, there you go.
Well, now you know. Show's
And
over,
that is
guys. Have a great
why
day.
I'm
That's why
tired.
you've come. You've come for this. No. You ready?
Yeah, you want to shoot a dough?
Let's shoot no.
All right. We are going to do the DNA in U. We've got a D topic, an A topic, and as many U topics as we can get to. So if you have a topic or a question for us that does not involve why I have the wrong picture in the background, you can ask us with a U at the front of your question, and we will get
Okay.
to those. But we started off with D. What's the D topic today?
Today, my topic is you just bought a house that's frozen in time. What time period would you want this new house to be frozen in? And here's
Mm.
where it comes from. I was exploring through some interesting information this morning and I came across this house that's for sale. It's an $80 million home down in Branson, Missouri. So about an hour from here.
Did you say 80?
I did.
$80 million home?
I said that. It's an 11 room, 20 car garage, heliopad. It's called the uh something
Is a
palace.
heliopad like a helipad?
Mhm.
Okay.
I said it wrong probably. I always say things wrong. It's just part of who I am.
I just was curious. I didn't know if that was something like special that I didn't know
Called
about.
the Crystal Palace. Um well, Evergreen Crystal Palace. It's a lake house that was built for the Plaster family, and the Plaster family is a local family. Mr. Plaster passed away a while ago, but um, he apparently there was the as it says as it goes. He was talking with like an investor or something who kind of poo pooed on the simple home, maybe or something like that. So he wanted to build something incredibly elaborate that anyone would be proud to walk in and kind of view. And it was originally going to be a lake house for his family. He passed away, and the proceeds from the sale of this property go towards education. He's like split it up to all these different educations for colleges. And so it has to sell. And so something happened last year, I think, or they've recorded a video. I'm going to show you guys something while I'm talking.
$80 million.
Okay. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna hit play here. So this is the house on the inside. I'll show you the outside. I'll back up a little bit, but essentially it's completely frozen in time. You can see this is super
Yeah.
90s because they just left everything exactly as it was, and it's just been sitting there empty for all this time. So I'm gonna go
Mm-hmm.
back and see if I can get a shot
Looks like
of the.
it looks like a corporation. It just looks like the like welcoming room
Yeah,
of some sort
the
of convalescence home or
yeah, the
something.
master bedroom is 3,000 square feet.
Wow.
There's I'm
How would you
assuming what
want a room that big? I
should
don't.
be the pool. And it has 9 peninsulas, private peninsulas. So
Okay.
anyhow, essentially they let somebody go through and take a video of this space.
Mm-hmm.
And then that video went viral. And so now they're having people from all over the world contact them wanting to ask
Make an offer?
questions about it and yeah, and make an offer and things like this.
Wow.
So Hollywood people are asking, can we shoot a movie there? Can we see him? Well, this would be a really great property for a movie. And they're like, nope, that's not what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be something that can be sold and shown, or given. So the
Mm-hmm.
idea again was that they were going to, have this as like a family place. So there's tons and tons of room.
Yeah.
There's living areas all over the place. And anyway, so I got to thinking about it. Whomever obviously gets this property gets
That's a harp. That's a piano and harp right there.
Piano and a harp. Yeah, they have these time capsule supposed to be opened, which would be interesting.
I'm not going to be around in 2092. I just popped that thing open right now.
I guess if you own it, you can.
That's right. You can't stop me.
Yeah, we're just kind of going
Look
up
at those
and up
chairs. Look at those chairs.
I know, it's so 90s. I mean, they actually have I'm not going to be able to find it, but
what is that?
This is, I think it's a bathroom. I think that's the shower. Apparently, when it was made,
is that a mirror? That has to be a mirror. Yeah,
it's solid gold something, right?
Yeah, looks like
it's just gold trim everywhere. When it was made, Mr. Plaster spent so much money on it that was completely out of character for him at the time, says his family. And so, yeah, it's incredibly opulent for being the 90s. And yeah, so I was like, okay. Obviously, I'm never going to be in an opulent place like this. Let's see if I can find this one bed. I mean, look at that.
The dog is the finishing touch right there. That's it's amazing.
The thing's just been sitting there since the 90s, and this bed has just got this indentation, like this perma indentation.
Yeah.
But anyhow, time capsules, just walking in and seeing a house that's completely preserved. I don't know. I think that kind of seems like a fun thing to chat about. So that's what I thought I'd bring to the table today.
Some great comments. Elizabeth says, makes me want to run around in it with all that space. Slindemon says, that's not a house. It's a hotel.
It is, right?
Mikey Hates It says, that's a superhero headquarters.
It is.
Yeah. It could be like an evil lair kind of thing. Frank says, it looks like a community college.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Jetsmets, who says it looks like an office building. That's the first thing I thought, is it looked like an office building to me.
I found it. Here, look at this bed.
Nice. Look at that. There's a deer in the room today.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And look, there's like look at these statues.
Nice.
It is very corporate. Okay, you can keep going. I'll keep playing it.
Ram. Let's see. Sorry, I just.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. Jose answers your question, says, definitely something mid-century. My dad's an architect, and one of his favorite things about Queen's Gambit is the production design. He also loves that fancy house in Incredibles too. Yeah, that kind of 50s, 60s architect era. There is something really interesting about that. Miguel says 19th century. I know it was a scary time, but all the homes and architecture from the Civil War era that I visited have been gorgeous, built to last a long time. Let's see. JCD stating the obvious. 80 million is entirely too much for a house.
You know,
yeah,
you're not wrong.
Lucas says remake The Shining right there. Yeah.
I mean, so it's an entire it's an island.
Oh, there's a pheasant. Nice. My dad would love that. He loves pheasants.
Here's the Avengers Assemble room, right? It even has the door to the outside so that the bad guy can pop in, at the last second.
Yeah, this is definitely the office.
For those of you just joining the show, this is a house for sale in Branson, Missouri. It's $80 million.
And for those of you listening to the podcast, do a YouTube search for exploring an $80 million glass mansion with everything left inside, and you can see what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The Amazing Kale says, I would 100% live in the 70s. You could buy a house by working a part-time job in psychedelics galore.
Yeah.
Here you go.
I think the 70s would be a good one for me in a way. There's so many patterns, but they're all the same colors. So they sort of still match.
Aaron Schweitzer has my answer, which is the future. I would pick something from the future. But Aaron says, I'd pick the future as my era. Staying at the Dicers already feels like that, since I'm pretty sure Google bought it and just allows them to sleep here.
They know you well.
They do know me well.
Okay, I'm going to try to find the outside. I'm going to take it off all the ad plays, and I'll try to find a picture of the outside so you guys can see that again.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, mine would be the future. I'm always going to be future forward. If I have to go with present or past, it's always going to be right now.
Mhm.
I just technology wise, it's something that for me means more than anything. I'm excited for the idea of the smart home to really go to the next level where you don't have to buy individual speakers and smart devices for each room. It's just built in. You have a central computer for your home that has those devices built in. The speakers are built into the walls of all the rooms. The screens, all that kind of stuff is interconnected. We're really close to that. I mean, I'm sure it exists, integrated smart homes, but it'll become more and more common where your Alexa, Google, whatever it might be, are built right into just your
Your
living
brain.
environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, or your brain. I'm down for
Hey,
that.
speaking of, you wanna see what the '90s, Central looks like? Look at this.
Oh wow, that is something.
Isn't that
Why
crazy?
would? Can you imagine? Like those side TVs. I can't even imagine. I'm sure they go all the way around. I mean, I would guess. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't even imagine using those for anything beneficial. Like, I mean, they don't go all around. I guess they just go up the side. Wow, that is something.
I mean, do you think this was their security system? We could listen and find out, but I'm not going to.
No, I think it's an entertainment center.
You think that's their entertainment center?
Oh yeah, there was a VHS player,
Yeah, but maybe that's for the TV, but then over here we have, like, security.
and there was like sound. There was like sound equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I think that's for like main game on the main TV, and then other games on the side TVs. Like people still do that. People still have a central big TV with other smaller TVs around it. That is something I have seen people do.
Screen and screen,
Um,
baby.
yeah,
Hey, here's another piano.
lots of pianos.
And here is a cat of some kind.
Looks like a puma.
There's a puma. All right, let's get through. Oh,
Boy,
we
don't
have
boy, don't play says going through this house is like watching the Carousel of Progress at Disney World. It's true. It's true. It's a solid point.
I think oh, there's the beautiful pool, y'all.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
a little shallow. I think they should fill that up a little more.
okay, so here we go with the exterior.
It's amazing. It's a testament in many ways to just the frivolity of excess, right? Like the idea that you can build something excessive, but it's still going to deteriorate. It's still going to age, poorly. But then again, maybe they'll get a bunch of money out of it for going viral. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
and the proceeds, like I said, are supposed to go towards education. And again, Mr. Plaster, he did not build this. This was not his normal way of approaching things. This was sort of just like a monument.
Mhm.
He built Plaster Stadium. So he's kind of responsible for, just kind of community work and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Slenderman says no basketball court. I'm out. I agree. You didn't spend your money very wisely.
Fun chat, fun chat.
Yeah, good
Go
find.
ahead. What's your topic today?
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the end of the Oscars, and it was kind of a twist ending. You speak of it, maybe being more like a movie, and that would be the big twist at the end. But I just wondered if you have any real life events that were twist endings, like
I had a
any.
kid.
Is that a
Surprise!
twist? Surprise!
Whoa! Apparently, we're gonna be parents now.
I just think of those stories like, I've told a few of them, but for instance, when I was younger and we would go to amusement parks, we would wait in line. And I always had this fun thing I like to do, fun to me, where I would never stop walking in line. I
Oh
didn't
my!
mind waiting as long as I never
This
stopped
story
walking.
makes me crazy. Slenderman, listen to this story.
So what
Inappropriate things happening at a line. You know about that.
genius things happening in a line, and if people would follow my lead. Anyways, so what I would do is I would walk at a pace that I thought would allow me never to have to stop. So I would just kind of walk slowly. A little bit of distance would build up, and then they would stop, and then I'd kind of catch up to them, and then they'd keep going, so that I never had to stop walking. I thought this was a really fun experiment, something fun to do, something to kind of kill the time, is just see if you could walk a pace where you never had to actually wait in line. You just walked really slowly through the line. So this was happening, and it was going really well. And then the line started moving a little bit more. And I was like, no, I'm going to keep my pace because I know there's probably a holdup coming up. So there's distance building up between me and the person in front of me. Now, if you don't know anything about, and this may just be human nature, but it's certainly culturally American nature, people don't like to think that they're not getting as far ahead as possible. I need to be like, if you're at a stoplight, you better be right up on the person in front of you. Like, like there's this thing where it's just very much like, you're keeping me from being getting there as fast as I can, which isn't right. You're not going to get there any faster by me being, right up in line. You're just going to feel like you're further along in line. So anyhow, I let this space build up between me and the person in front of me, and I start to hear grumblings from behind in the line. Just kind of like grumble. What is going on? We just go up in line or whatever. And I'm just doing my thing.
Come on,
so
dude.
I don't. Yes, exactly. So I don't actually fill that space. So the space gets to be almost the entire length of a, how they have turns and they go around.
Field.
Not a football field, but a length of one, runway.
Stanchions.
And the twist ending is the entire row behind me jumps the stanchion in front of me to take up all that space. Like they coordinated it so that the next time we got to a turn, they were all just going to jump ahead and in front of me.
And
that was the twist ending.
Like how many people do you think? 15 people
and
all of a sudden just jump over?
Yes, 15 people step over, just like, nope, thanks for the space, buddy. Here's the interesting thing. Think about this. Not only were they making a point, but for half of them, they were getting further back in line. Because when you go over a line that's going back and forth, you are all of a sudden switching places front to back in that line. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. So the person that was directly behind you now becomes the person that's
in front of me. They just hopped me.
One.
But the person at the back of that line all of a sudden jumped like 30 people. So like, so I'm like, okay, whatever. So my reaction, as you may guess, was I giggled and laughed, and I was fine, and I went on with my day. But I thought that was kind of one of those real life twist endings. So that was one of the stories that I could share.
Frank says none of my IRL twists are safe for this chat.
Well, thank you for being considerate. Frank.
Polly says it's like in stop and go traffic where I idle slowly as to never stop the car. But if I get a good gap, then someone cuts in. It's exactly like that.
Here, listen, you just want me to rant, but man, the whole zippering of traffic when a lane goes away is one of the biggest frustrations that people don't understand how to do that. And it's just like, just merge when it's your turn to merge. Quit trying to get ahead of everybody. People zippered, we'd be through. Self-driving cars will do this.
JCD says, I won an award with our school band once. It was in a high school cafeteria, and when my name was announced, I just so happened to walk out of the bathroom.
Nice.
That's funny.
That's amazing.
That reminds me of a twist ending for me, which isn't great. When I was in the 4th or 5th grade. I think it was actually the 4th grade because we just moved into a new school district. And so, of course, I was the odd girl, the new girl. I went to the bathroom and I came back to my classroom, and my last name started with a B, which meant I was at the front because it was all alphabetical. And when I sat down, I felt my bare skin against the chair, which meant that the skirt that I was wearing was no longer like where it should be. I had tucked my skirt into my underwear and my tights, and I had walked through the entire school. So everyone saw my butt. That was a twist ending I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
When you sit down and you feel something like, wait, that should be covered. Oh no. Oh, buddy. Yeah. A great
Yeah.
I made so many really uncomfortable first impressions in 4th grade. That set off a series of events that were unfortunately a little defining for me.
Jose says, my twist ending, finding out weeks later that my roommate's ex broke up with him because she had feelings for me.
Ooh.
Twist ending, or
Ooh.
twist beginning.
Aaron.
Let's see. Lolly says, ending up in Idaho. It's not a place I ever thought of.
Yeah. Yeah. That's gotta feel interesting. Like Idaho of all places.
Lolly says, best twist ending was brother winning the costume competition at a school he did not attend. My sister and I were in costume, so he insisted on wearing his Thunderbirds uniform. The teachers just assumed he was in the competition, and when he won, my mom was too embarrassed to correct him once he was on stage.
Did they figure it out? That's amazing.
That's great.
Let's see. Here's one from Miguel. In college, I went to an event just because a girl I kind of liked was organizing it. I ended up meeting an amazing girl who would become my fiance, and we're getting married on July 10th.
Congratulations.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Less than 3 months away. Nice.
Slab wants to make sure everyone knows that, fun fact, 90% of people in Idaho are waiting for their flat tire to be fixed. Just say no.
Nick says, when I was at a Philly Comic-Con years ago, I accidentally bumped into a man walking the opposite, was looking for my friends. I turned to apologize, and all I could say was, sorry. Holy crap, Stan Lee! Twist ending. You had your own Stan Lee cameo. You had a real life Stan Lee cameo. That's amazing. That is amazing.
Jose says band twist, when your band is the last one announced for finals, so everyone thinks they're going home until suddenly we're not.
Nice.
That's a fun one.
Polly says, so freshman year running track, doing my event 300-meter hurdles. In my heat, I ran against 3 guys, but I tripped and fell, got up and finished the race. Twist, I was the only freshman, so I won first. Oh.
Ooh.
Nice.
Here's one from the Slenderman who says, twist ending, the most recent dog I adopted was taken by someone else. I was disappointed, but happy he was adopted. I left for work one day, got a call from the rescue that the adopters were no-shows and not answering their phones. So I came home from work that day with a dog. Oh, that's lovely. Nice. So I had a moment too. This is kind of a weird story. So I adopted a pit bull from a shelter, and no matter what kind of animal or what kind of dog you get, you have to sign a piece of paper that if the original owner was to come forward, that you would give up the dog if that happened. And so I spent like 2 hours with the dog just to make sure that I kind of had a general understanding of his demeanor. And then I adopted him and took him home. I took him over to see a friend of mine. And he kept looking at my dog really oddly. He's like, I think I've seen this dog before. Turns out, true story, he was his brother's dog. His brother had got him as a puppy and left for work one day. And I named my dog Patronus. So Patronus is a puppy. He had been stolen out of his brother's backyard and never seen again. So apparently, then given to the pound months later when I picked him up. So for a little like day and a half of conversation with the actual original owner, they had already gotten another dog, and they wanted Patronus back at first. And so I thought I was going to have to give him back, but it turns out I got to keep him, and he was the best dog ever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a twist.
And then Slab says, and that dog went on to become president. And now you know the rest of the story.
Wow. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love the rest of the story. All right. Let's see. Slenderman has one. I was hired out of college to do shipping for an apparel manufacturer. I was only supposed to ship packages, but slowly gained their trust and wound up managing 5+ factories for them. They produced our first product, and I learned everything I know professionally. We both had no idea when I was hired how influential we would both be for each other. Those are good stories.
I love stories like that.
Yeah.
I've talked to several people over the years about getting your foot in the door and what that means. Because sometimes you end up in a place where you're doing janitor work, for example. My brother had an experience where he was doing janitorial work and then he worked his
Mhm.
way into the company from there. So very similar things. Sometimes it's just getting out there and meeting people and having conversations and then filling in gaps, which open up other doors. So that's really, really cool.
Nice. Very, very nice. Well, you ready to head on to the you questions for today?
Yep.
All right. We're ready for you. Whatever your question is, whatever topic you want us to talk about, all things are acceptable for you to ask. It doesn't mean we'll answer necessarily everything, but feel free to ask, and we will do our best to answer what we can. Just put a you at the beginning so we know that you are looking to do a you question.
I wanted to throw this one up while we're waiting for you questions. This is from
Sure.
Moco Mate, who says, I once stopped this guy from going to see his ex. We went to dinner instead to keep his mind off of her. Plot twist, we're married. I didn't know that. That's
Nice.
fantastic.
Let's see. I saw you question a little bit up
You did?
earlier. See if I can find it. If you've got something you want us to talk about or any questions you have, make sure that you let us know.
Slab says, twist ending. I watched a silly video about everything wrong with the Amazing Spider-Man and turned into meeting some wonderful people, ILR, and online over the years. Do you mean IRL? You probably do.
No. Means ILR.
Here is Jose's you question. Have you ever been excited seeing your hometown portrayed in some media, movies, TV, or books? I was a child when Shark Boy, Lava Girl, and the Spy Kid movies came out, and I loved seeing all of the Austin locations and bragging about it to my friends in college.
Nice. Yeah,
there was the show The Ozarks.
Yeah.
Right? Which I never saw. So I don't.
Yeah, you're talking about the Jason Bateman. It's just called Ozark. It's just called Ozark, I think. Yeah.
Seeing
drugs.
Trees that I know very familiar, which is it's weird to say, but there is this Ozark vibe that was cool. And then also on one of the Bourne movies, it said he was from Nixa, Missouri, which is
Jason Bourne is from Nixa, Missouri. Yes,
which is basically like the southern neighborhood of Springfield, which is where I grew up. So that was kind of cool. Like, wait, did I just say Nixa?
It would be just as crazy as Republic, Missouri. You know what I mean? It's that kind of little small town.
Yeah, like how did you come up with Nixa? Yeah. What was that about?
Yeah, probably somebody just knew it, had lived there before, and just put it on the license. Whoever was in charge of the art department that day was like, "I'm from Nixa. I'm gonna put that on there."
Probably.
So, for me, it's usually broader than hometown because I haven't really lived anywhere that shows up. So like Michigan movies, just being from Michigan, if a movie's set in Michigan, I always felt like, oh, that's cool. Although there were like real life horrible things that happened recently here in this area that movies have been made about. That is one of those things where it's like, I wish it wasn't this area, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
so
never
that
real life crime situations. Never fun to have in your hometown.
Yeah. Yep,
let's see. Lolly says Mission Impossible is building a train line Derbyshire right now. Stony Middleton is a nowhere village and they are losing their minds now.
Yes.
And JCD says my hometown caused me to watch a movie that I absolutely hate. It wasn't in the movie, but it was in a movie where the movie I hate was mentioned. I don't understand that.
But okay. Elizabeth says, you question, do you know how to swim? And did you / are you going to teach your kids how to swim?
Oh man. I've been watching there's this Instagram person that keeps like posting she just had a baby recently and she's been posting like these little clips. They're doing like the infant classes where they just essentially let the kid fall in the water and then figure out how to float themselves before they can even crawl.
Right.
And so I'm watching him like, like I'm just freaking out because I'm sure it's fine. This is something that they do, and it's great, and kids should learn how to swim really early. But we didn't do that. I didn't even think about doing that. But yes, she will learn how to swim because that will be a really useful skill. And
Will it
Justin, my
though?
my husband loves going to the pool. Oh yeah, she's gonna be a tanned, blonde-haired sun girl. If Justin has anything to say about it, and he does because he's her father, they will be at the pool all the time.
You live within a block of 2
2
pools.
pools. We literally
So,
moved into a
like,
neighborhood that has a neighborhood pool, and it is literally like 1,000 feet from our doorstep. They will be there all the time, and I have to
yeah.
be like calm. I have to calm myself down. I don't mind getting in pools if I have to.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, I don't like the sun. Have you seen I don't like the sun does not like me. So,
Swimming's fine. Being submerged in water is kinda cool. I like it. We taught all our kids to swim. Yeah.
I
So
grew up going to, Table Rock Lake, which is where that huge mansion was earlier, and, we had, like a what do they call it? Timeshare property my family all had, and there was a
mhm,
private area that we could kind of go to, and they had this floating dock sort of out in the water,
mhm.
and I remember it being a very, very big deal the first time that each grandkid swam to it independent. And I remember the adults would kind of surround you as you kind of made your way. That was a really great feeling, except for I've always been afraid of the water, always.
Mm.
So in Table Rock Lake, you cannot see your body from about chest down if you're just kind
Yeah,
of floating.
it's a lake. Yeah, it's a lake.
There's nothing there anymore, and I don't like that feeling at all. So
I grew up swimming in lakes, in Michigan. There's
oof,
just so many lakes, and so I was used to that from very early, but there came a point where I was like, "I don't like this." Like, I don't
yeah,
like that there are other, animals that live in here with me. I don't like that I can't see what's below me.
I don't
I
like
don't
it.
like how the rocks and the sand feel under my feet. Like, give me the pool. Pour a bunch of chlorine in the pool. I'm fine. Let's do this. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Polly says, "You question, how can we do new movies better than sticking them on a pay service like HBO Max, yet still not have to go to the theater? Should theaters have streaming services?" Theaters do have streaming services. AMC has their own streaming service. It doesn't work. People aren't interested in that. And because of the content issues, it's not like they can own the rights to stream movies that they would be able to show in their theaters. So no, it doesn't really work that way, and there probably isn't a better way than the people who own the content creating a streaming service to show the content they own. That's probably the best way for it to work. Let's see.
Related question, which
Mhm.
is harder to teach, swimming or how to ride a bike?
I mean, it depends on the kid, but usually the bike is
I think
harder.
the bike. Yeah.
Usually the bike
There's
is
something
harder.
about buoyancy in water and just you're kinda just moving your hands and your legs that kind of is an
It's
easier it feels
instinctual.
more natural, instinctual, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas a bike, you have multiple things going on that include balance.
I mean, it's mainly balance, right? Like, it's
So
mainly trying to figure out the proprioception of how your body moves
mhm.
to stay upright, and that's a little more complicated
This
for
one
sure.
is, I believe, for you, Aaron. I think I saw the correction. What would it take to legitimately move Oscars to 5-year waiting periods before getting an
It's never
award?
happening. Never happening. We love recency. The only thing that might happen in the future is like a 5-year Oscar where they add like, looking back 5 years. Here's the problem with that. They're not going to want to correct themselves. Like they're, looking back and going, "Oh, we made a mistake. Here's the actual answer." Like it's just so no, I don't think it's ever happening. And I think that's fine. You just have to deal with recency bias and then you look back and have conversations about it in the future, and that's where it lands. But as far as an actual award, it'll always be for the year previous, in my opinion.
I just want to point out that The Amazing Kill shares that they got pinched by a crab at the
I've been
beach.
pinched by a crab and
I've been
stung by a
pinched
jellyfish.
by not a crab, a crawfish.
Yes.
Crawdad. Crawdad.
Well,
Those
they're called different things in different areas. People,
hurt. That was
yeah,
not great. Ooh, I just had a memory flashback of almost having my arm bitten off by a turtle. Okay, go ahead.
Nick says the quote-unquote tooth fairy forgot to come last night, and my daughter was heartbroken.
Oh.
I know, Aaron. I'm lying to my kids. When the tooth fairy leaves a note tonight, what should the excuse be?
Ooh, this is so wonderful. I love it so much. Okay, here's my first instinct. My first instinct is the fairy had to stop and mine some magical dust and like include sparkle, like sprinkle in there. Like put it like in a little
So
package or
it was
something.
an inventory problem?
This was inventory issue. They had to stop. They had to go to the glitter mines and pick up some glitter.
It's been slow lately due to the pandemic. It's hard to get that glitter to where it needs to go.
Yeah. Well, shipping is really, really complicated these days.
It is.
So it's very similar. Maybe like a blend of fantasy and a learning opportunity about.
It took the Tooth Fairy Association a long time to figure out how to make masks small enough that they could continue delivering teeth during the pandemic. So they're just a little behind still.
You could also, depending on what kind of a fairy it is, you could go like battle fairy, and that they had to battle their way there. And then you could. I almost said it without laughing. I was going to say you could cut off the head of like a stuffed animal and like be like, here, I battled this on the way to get to you.
That'll work today. Yeah. Stuffed animal dismemberment. I'm sure that's always the way to go.
Oh, I like this answer. Tooth Fairy now requires curbside pickup. Exactly. Tooth Fairy union is powerful. Tooth Fairy has the weekends off.
Yep.
Tooth Fairy was watching Sift Pop, lost track of time.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know, it was a joke. It was a joke. I would never actually recommend doing that.
That's what she does. It's what she does for Iris.
Oh no. I was gonna go with the she was on vacation route, but stuffed animal mutilation is great. Don't actually do that.
Your stuffed bear was defending your room. And I'm sorry, but if I was going to get you this, if I was going to turn your tooth into money, I had to get past your stuffed bear. So here's the remnants.
No. Don't destroy one of the child stuffed animals.
No, let's
Something
really go for it.
Something that they had to battle on the way. Oh God.
Listen, we have to know there are consequences to our greed. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you can have your tooth turn into money, but there's going to be loss. There's going to be loss.
But God says, no, do it. And the kid will never want the fairy to come back again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Let's see. Jetsmets says silly weather moments in non-weather movies. Mine is the wind at the beginning of Unfaithful. That is a very specific question that I cannot even think of an answer to. Silly weather moments in non-weather movies. So not like Twister or something like that, just weather or the ice storm, which obviously has an ice storm in it. Every movie ever has rain. The upside down kiss in Spider-Man comes to mind. Of course, it has to be raining.
An unsuspected rain when things go south and get emotional, and then suddenly it's raining.
Yeah, that's the only kind of stuff that I can think of as stuff like that. Or you could go with like Magnolia, that has the rain where it rains frogs. That's definitely an interesting moment.
JCD says the windstorm that blows away the nannies in Mary Poppins. Okay, that was so weird. I've never watched Mary Poppins as an adult. I think I did it as a child because I remember parts of it, but that part was very peculiar. Very magical.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Feel free to continue to get you questions in, but we're coming up on our hour anyway. So I think my body is starting to rally and my cognizance is starting to click. So,
so you're just now waking up at the end of the show.
I think I might be awakening.
That's wonderful. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We love doing this every Monday and Sunday at 9 a.m. Central. And a huge shout out to our Patreon supporters. You can support us at patreon.com/studio DNA, where $5 a month, you have access to all of the podcasts on our podcast network, and continue to just allow us to do this show and other fun projects that we put together. You've helped us purchase equipment with the support that you've done. You help us with the streaming platform.
Amazing chairs that are not uncomfortable, that are not bad, that they're amazing. And thank you for your support and helping us buy these amazing chairs that have lasted many years and are still comfortable and amazing.
Slenderman wants us to point out that if you go and support us at $5 a month, you will help us reach our next goal, which is some live Dungeons and Dragons, where I will be
six members of Team DNA away.
I will be the dungeon master, and
I will be the
taking
noob.
Aaron as the noob through the process. I have a lot of ideas. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to land. We'll have to talk about it when we get there. But that would be something that you guys can go and consider. And thank you for doing so. Like I said, we go live every Monday and then some days. So make sure that you are subscribed on whatever platform you're watching from. We are live on Twitch on 2 channels, Aaron's and my own. We are live on YouTube and Twitter and the Facebook.
That one. Yep.
I like how Jet's mess like, D&D. I know. It's not for everybody, but it's not going to take up a ton of time. It'll have to just be kind of a special sort of thing, and then we'll be done with it. And then we'll never have to talk about D&D again. I'm just kidding. I love it so much.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you, and we will see you on the next Monday or someday.
Have a good day, guys. Bye.